Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving deep into the LinkedIn account-based marketing playbook. We're going to talk about how you can transform your entire marketing approach, moving from, casting that wide, hopeful net to throwing a super precise, powerful spear that hits its target every single time. Let's get into it. So, does this sound familiar? You're marketing to what feels like everyone, but you're not really selling to anyone. Your dashboards might be glowing with leads, but those leads, they just aren't turning into actual revenue. It's a classic problem in B2B, right? You're making so much noise with this broad outreach that you can't hear the signals from the customers you actually want to talk to. And this slide, well, it lays out the exact shift we're talking about. The old way, that's the wide net. It's a numbers game, a spray and pray approach where you just hope something sticks. But the ABM way, the sharp spear, that's a strategy game. You're not looking for just any lead. No way. You're targeting specific, high-value accounts and personalizing your whole approach to win them over. The goal totally shifts from lead volume to relationship quality, which, you guessed it, leads to a much, much higher return on your effort. So what exactly is account-based marketing, or ABM? Okay, here's the official definition, but I want you to pay really close attention to three words here: focused, collaborate, and personalized. This isn't just another marketing campaign you run for a quarter. It's a core business strategy that gets your sales and marketing teams perfectly aligned, treating each of those big deal accounts like its own unique market. So where do you start? Well, it all kicks off with step one, identifying your target accounts. And honestly, this is the foundation of the entire strategy. If you get this step wrong, everything else that comes after is just less effective. It's all about focusing your time, your money, your energy where it's going to have the biggest impact. The process itself is pretty straightforward. First up, you've got to define your ideal customer profile, your ICP. Just think about your absolute best customers. What makes them so great? Second, you use that profile to build a list of real companies that fit that description. And third, you tier that list. This is so important because it helps you prioritize. Your Tier 1 accounts, they're going to get the full white glove all-in treatment. Let's make this real for a second. Imagine we're a fintech company selling software. Our ICP isn't just banks. Oh no, it is way more specific. We're targeting enterprise banks with over $50 billion in assets, who we know are probably stuck on old, clunky legacy systems, and we get their specific pain points, stuff like high compliance risk and inefficient manual work. See? That's the kind of detail that turns your marketing from a generic shout into a really helpful whisper they actually want to hear. Okay, so once you know which companies to target, the next big question is, who do you talk to inside those companies? And that brings us right to step two, mapping the buying committee. This is absolutely critical because, as the saying goes, you don't sell to a company logo. You sell to the actual people behind it. This slide really brings home just how complex a modern B2B sale is. It is never, ever just one person making the call. You've got influencers who are shaping the conversation. You've got users who have to live with the product every day, champions who are fighting for you internally, and yeah, even blockers who can kill the whole deal. Your mission is to identify all these people and start building relationships with them. Let's bring this back to our fintech example. The VP of digital transformation, that person could be your champion. The chief risk officer, well, they might be a blocker, worried about security. The head of retail banking is your end user, and the CIO is probably the ultimate decision maker. You need a completely different message and a different approach for every single one of them. And this quote just sums it all up perfectly. The goal is what we call multi-threading. You're building a whole web of relationships across the organization. Why? Well, because a single point of contact is also a single point of failure. If your main champion leaves the company, your deal shouldn't have to leave with them. All right, so you've identified your accounts, you know the key people inside them. Now for the really fun part, taking all that research and turning it into action. Let's talk about step three, executing your ABM plays, specifically on LinkedIn. You've got a whole powerful toolkit for this on LinkedIn. And it's not just about running ads, it's about a smart blend of paid and organic tactics. We're talking about thoughtful, personalized connection requests, sharing content that's actually useful, running super targeted ads, and even using sponsored messaging for direct outreach. The key thing to remember is that every single touch point has to be relevant to that specific person at that specific company. Now, when it comes to the paid side of things on LinkedIn, these two features are going to be your best friends.
With matched audiences, you can literally upload your target account list and make sure your ads are only seen by people at those companies. Then you can use sponsored messaging to send a direct, personal message to, say, every chief risk officer on that list. I mean, we're talking surgical precision here.
If you remember just one thing from this section, please let it be this. This is the golden rule. You have to lead with value, not a sales pitch. Every interaction, every piece of content you share has to be genuinely helpful. Your job is to educate first and sell second. That is how you build trust and earn the right to even have a conversation.
So finally, how do you know if any of this is actually working? That brings us to our final step, step 4, measuring what actually matters. And trust me, ABM requires a totally different way of thinking about your metrics.
Yeah, the difference in how we measure success it's huge. We're moving away from those old vanity metrics, like cost per lead. I mean, who cares if a lead is cheap if it's from the wrong company, right? With ABM, we track things that are directly tied to revenue. How engaged is the account? How fast are deals moving? What's our average deal size? And what's our win rate? These are the numbers your leadership team actually cares about. And the impact? Well, it can be pretty dramatic. This chart shows some pretty typical results from a well-run ABM strategy. When you get sales and marketing focused on the right accounts together, you see real bottom-line improvements. We're talking bigger deals, higher win rates, and faster sales cycles. That's the power of doing ABM right. So let's do a quick recap of the entire playbook. It's a simple 4-step loop. Number 1, identify the right accounts. 2, map the key people inside them. 3, engage them with personalized, valuable plays. And number 4, measure your impact at the account level, not the lead level. So I'll leave you with one final question to think about. Forget about the thousands and thousands of potential leads out there for a minute. Instead, just ask yourself this. Which 10 specific accounts, if you won them, would completely transform your business this year? Start right there. That is the beginning of your ABM journey. Thanks so much for watching.